Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi guys, how are you? I hope you're doing great. So today we're going to talk about pronouns. But before we discuss it, let me remind you, don't forget to leave a like and please click the subscribe button below this video. Okay, let's get started. So pronoun is a word used in place of noun, or we can say that pronouns are words that can be used to replace nouns. There are some examples of pronouns like I, we, you, he, she, and it. There are basically 11 types of pronouns like personal pronoun, reflexive pronoun, emphatic pronoun, demonstrative pronoun, indefinite pronoun, interrogative pronoun, distributive pronoun, reciprocal pronoun, relative pronoun, relative compound pronoun, and last but not least is possessive pronoun. We're going to discuss it one by one. Okay, so the first is the personal pronouns. Personal pronouns are the pronouns that we use to refer to certain persons. It can be mainly divided into two. The first is subject pronoun and the second is the object pronoun. Subject pronouns are used to refer to the personal pronouns that functions as the subject of the sentences, while object pronouns are the personal pronouns functioning as the object of the sentences. Okay, first we have first person. First person is to denote the speaker. We have I and we, and then the object pronoun for I is me, and then for we have us. For example, I'm a teacher. So I here is the subject pronoun, but then he gave me a book. Me here is the object pronoun. We don't say he gave I a book because we need an object. So me is used because me is the object for the subject I. And then we are Indonesians. We is the subject pronoun. In they taught us music, us is the object pronoun for we. Okay, next the second person. It refers to the addressee, to whom we are talking to. We have you for both the subject and object pronouns. For example, you are a girl and I saw you last year. You in the first sentence is the subject pronoun, whereas you in the second sentence is the object pronoun. Next one is the third person. We have he, referring to masculine gender, or a man or a boy, and him for the object pronoun. For example, he stopped smoking. He is the subject pronoun. She wants to marry him. Him is the object pronoun for he. And then she is used to refer to a feminine gender, or a girl, or a woman. The object pronoun is her. She is my sister. She is the subject pronoun. I met her in the theater. Her here is the object pronoun for she. And then it can refer to one thing or one animal. The object pronoun is also the same, it, so it will be easier for you to remember. For example, it is a book. It here is the subject pronoun, but in I loved it, it here is the object pronoun. The last one, we have they. They can be used for plural things or plural persons. The object pronoun is them. For example, they are working in a factory. So they here is the subject pronoun, and them in the sentence of I met them yesterday is the object pronoun. So we can conclude that if we want to talk about one male person or female person, we can use he for male and then her, she for female. And when we want to talk about one thing or one animal, we can use it. For example, the cat or the book. But when we want to talk about more than one person or more than one animal, we can use they. For example, when we have Nia, we can say she. Nia is a student. She blah blah blah, because she refers to Nia. And when we have Jono is a teacher. he is blah blah blah. So he here refers to Jono. And for example, we have the cat is under the table. It is blah blah blah. So it here refers to the cat. The book is under the table. It refers to the book. But when we have Jono and Nia are studying, they are blah blah blah. So they refers to Jono and Nia. And the same goes with the cat and the book or blah blah blah. They are blah blah blah. So they here refers to the cat and the book. Well, I hope that's clear. Okay, next one is the reflexive pronoun. It is used to reflect the action of the verb on the subjects. So it shows that this kind of pronoun is used to refer the action back to the doer, meaning that the action is reflected back to the doer. We have the singular and plural forms here, basically by adding the word self, yeah. But you must note here that for the subject you, we have the singular and plural forms because it's possible for us to have one or more addressee. And for the singular you, you have to note the spelling. We have S-E-L-F, and for the plural one, if we talk to more than one addressees, then we use S-E-L-V-E-S, V, yeah. Okay, let me give you an example. I saw myself in the mirror. Yeah, it shows that the action of seeing herself or himself is reflected back to the subject I. Or, for example, we hurt ourselves. So here, the action of being hurt is experienced by the subject we. Okay. Next one, we have emphatic pronouns. Emphatic pronouns are the pronouns that we use to emphasize the subject. We emphasize the subject here as the doer of the action. Actually, it's quite similar to the previous type of pronoun that we discussed before. We have the reflective pronoun, but it's different. In the case that in emphatic pronoun, we emphasize the action, that the subject is the one that does the action. But in reflective pronoun, we focus on the action. The action is reflecting back to the doer, which is the subject. So these two types are different, even if the forms are the same. For example, I myself will show you the way. I myself will show you the way. It shows that I here as the subject will do the action of showing the way to the addressee. And then they themselves decided to leave the party. So it shows that they here as the subject or the doers are the ones that decide to leave the party. So I hope it's clear. Again, emphatic pronouns are used to emphasize the subject as the doer of the action, while reflective pronouns are used to refer to to reflect the action back. So emphatic pronoun focusing on the subject as the doer, while reflective pronoun focusing on reflecting back the action. So the point is on the action for reflective pronoun. Okay, next one is demonstrative pronoun. It is used to point out the person or thing we talk about. The examples are this, that, such, these, those. For example, this is my friend's house, and these are my teacher's book. We call this and these here as demonstrative pronouns. So we use this and these to refer to the close things or person. This is for the singular noun, and then these is for the plural nouns. And we can also use that and those for the far things or persons. That is for the singular noun, and those is for the plural noun. But maybe now you will get confused, because before you learn about demonstrative adjectives, and in demonstrative adjectives you also have the same word to refer to or to point out to the person or thing that you talk about. But actually demonstrative pronouns and demonstrative adjectives are different. As you can see in example 3, we have these books are English books. So we call these books here as demonstrative adjectives. Why? Because it is followed by the nouns. Again, when we talk about adjective, it is used to describe the noun. So when we talk about demonstrative adjective, of course it's always appear or occurs together with the noun it describes. But in 1 and 2, this and these come by themselves without nouns. But in number 3, these is accompanied by the nouns it described, which is books. So the note is, in demonstrative pronoun, it can exist without the noun. But in demonstrative adjective, it's always occur with the noun. Okay. Next, indefinite pronoun. It is used to talk about a person or thing indefinitely. Okay. For example, one, something, anybody, someone, known, somebody. Because it's indefinite, so meaning that we talk about something in general. Yeah. For example, one of my sisters is beautiful. Okay, one of my sisters is beautiful. So probably you have 3 sisters. Yeah. Then one of my sister, we cannot decide which one, but you just know one of them is beautiful. Okay. Second one, none of my parents are teachers. None of my parents are teachers. So here you have 2 parents, but we cannot decide which one. Maybe your father, maybe your mother. And then someone threw a stone at me. Yeah, someone threw a stone at me. Someone here can be anyone. Maybe your friend, maybe a stranger. We don't know. The fourth one, anybody can tell you about my uncle. Anybody here means also anyone. It can be your friend, it can be your brother, your sister, your mother, and so on and so forth. So basically when we talk about indefinite pronoun, we refer to something in general. Okay. Next one is interrogative pronoun. Interrogative pronouns is used to make questions. The examples are who, whose, which, whom, and what. Okay, for example, who is known as the father of linguistics? Whom do you wish to marry? Who saw these books? Which is the tallest building in the city? What can I give you? Okay. Again, you may get confused between interrogative pronoun and interrogative adjectives. Are they similar or different? Well, so actually they are different in the sense that interrogative pronoun is used to ask questions and they can stand by itself. For example, whose are these books? The answer will be those are mine. Mine. So the answer is in the form of the object. Yeah. But in interrogative adjective, it is used to ask question and to describe a noun. Remember, to describe a noun. For example, whose books are these? Yeah, whose books are these? The answer is those are my books, for example. So the answer is in the form of where's that? Possessive adjectives. Okay. Another example, for example, number 4, which is the tallest building in the city? This is with interrogative pronoun, which here can stand by its own. We don't need a noun. But when we use interrogative adjective, we will ask like, which building? Yeah, which building is the tallest in the city? It will be like that. Okay. Next, distributive pronoun. It is used to talk about each and every person separately. The examples are each, either, none, both, everyone, every, and neither. For example, each should love the country. Everyone in the theater clapped with joy. None of my stories was published. So each, everyone, and known here, I used to talk about each or every person separately. Okay. Again, you may get confused between this kind of pronoun with a distributive adjective, but they are different in the sense that in distributive pronoun, this pronoun each and every, for example, they function as the subject or object of the sentence, and they are never followed by a noun. But in distributive adjective, again, because adjective describes a noun, so it is always followed by the noun it describes. Yeah. For example, in distributive pronoun we have it should love the country. So each here stands by its own as the subject of the sentence. But in distributive adjective you will have each student got the diploma degree, for example. So you need student behind the word. Okay. Next is reciprocal pronoun. Reciprocal pronoun is used to talk about mutual relationship. We have the words like each other or one another. It shows the mutual relation between one and another parties. For example, the two sisters loved each other. Yeah, so the word each other here referring to the two sisters that they they have mutual love to each other. And then number two, they cheated one another. One another here shows that both parties are cheating. Or for example, two people are dating, and then the girl is cheating on him and the boy is cheating on her. So this kind of sentence can be expressed by the word one another. They cheated one another. Next, relative pronoun. It is used to combine or relate sentences or clauses together. To combine. The examples are who, which, as, whom, what, but, whose, and that. Okay. For example, the girl who talked to you at the theater is my sister. Or 2. The girl whom you wanted to marry is a teacher. 3. The man whose house is painted in white is a police. 4. She gave me such a reply as I expected. Okay. In number 4, probably it's quite clear, yeah, why we call it relative pronoun, because it connects two clauses. The first is she gave me such a reply. The second one is I expected. But in 1, 2, 3, the examples 1, 2, 3, it's a bit confusing with relative clauses probably. So relative clauses are the clauses that we use to describe nouns, or this belong to adjectives. Yeah. So what is the difference between relative pronoun is relative adjectives? Actually they are, where's that, they are related to one another. So relative clauses is introduced by relative pronoun. So who, whom, whose, blah 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 here. For example, who talked to you at the theater, whom you wanted to marry, whose house is painted in white, are the form of relative clauses, but they are introduced by relative pronouns. So who, whom, whose are the relative pronouns. Next, relative compound pronoun. I'm sure that you're familiar with this. These are the kind of pronouns that are compounded. Compounded are where's that? Compounded is combined with the word ever. So we add the word ever behind the pronoun. For example, we have whoever, referring to anyone, and then whenever, and then whichever, wherever, whatever, and however. For example, whoever speaks the best wins the first prize. So here, whoever is the form of relative compound pronoun, meaning that anyone who speaks the best will win the first prize. And then I will give you whichever you like. Okay, I want my money back whatever problems you have, no matter what the problems. Okay, therefore whenever I see my parents I feel happy, referring to the time, no matter when. and then he inspires everyone wherever she works, meaning no matter where. So in other words, we can say that in relative compound pronoun, these words are used to say no matter what. Yeah, no matter who, no matter which, no matter what, no matter when, no matter where. Okay, I hope it's clear. Okay, next is possessive pronoun. Possessive pronouns are used to express ownership or possession. This is different with possessive adjectives that you learned before, because in possessive adjectives, they must come together with the noun they describe. But in possessive pronouns, they stand on their own. For example, this is my book. You can say this is mine. Or this is your pen. You can say this is yours. You don't need to mention pen, because the word yours here is already replacing the word your pen, like that. Okay, there are some guidance that you need to follow when you want to place certain personal pronoun. The first, the pronoun should agree with the noun in number, gender, and person. Agree here means relevant or in accordance with. For example, my friends are very kind. They help me much. So they here is the pronouns which is agree to the subject my friends. Why we use they? Because my friends are plural. Yeah, my friends here is plural, so we use they. And then B, Bob is my uncle. He is in hospital now. Why do we call it he? Because Bob is referring to a masculine gender, or a man, or a boy. Okay. 2. When two nouns connected by and refer to the same person, the noun must be singular. For example, the writer and editor published his poems. Actually, it's from the writer published his poems, the editor published his poems. But we can just simplify it by saying the writer and editor published his poems. And then buying and selling is his business. So why do we use his here? Is because the action of buying and selling are done by the same subject, he. Okay, for example, the president and the prime minister had their interview on TV yesterday. So they here is used because the interviews were conducted by two different people, the president and the prime minister. Okay, the fourth rule, if the nouns are connected by each and every, the pronoun must be singular. Remember, each and every. For example, every man and boy has paid his fee. So he's here referring to every man or a boy. So it can be he. And then every girl and woman has brought her book. Her here refers to can be any girl or any woman, one person. Okay, the fifth one, if the nouns combined by or, either blah blah or, neither blah 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 nor, the pronoun must be singular. So the example is, neither Jim nor his brother has helped his parents. So here, neither and nor is actually conveying the meaning of none of them. So we use his here as the pronouns, replacing one of these two people. So we use singular pronoun. And then the sixth one is, if a singular noun is combined with a plural noun by or, nor, either blah 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 or, neither blah 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 nor, the pronoun must be plural. Okay, so the example is, either Bella or other students have finished their job. So here we use the pronoun there because we have other students, and other students here are used to refer to plural person. Next, seventh, the correct form of pronoun, subjective and objective, must be used after than or affect. For example, she loves me more than I, not me, for example, because it stands for she loves me more than I loved her. Yeah, and she invited my friend and me to the party. You don't use I here because what you need is the object, so you use me. And then 8, the correct order of pronouns must be maintained. Usually the pronoun I is used in the last of the order. For example, you and I shall go there, not I and you. B, my mother and I visited old grandpa, not I and my mother. Okay. Next, double possessives must be used correctly. If you want to say that something is related to you and also belongs to certain people that is related to you, so you must know how this double possessive go. Okay, for example, Jennifer is a friend of mine. So of mine here is used to refer to Jennifer as your friend, like that. So you use of mine. Okay, and we have a book of yours. Okay. Then after a preposition, a pronoun must be in the objective case. Remember, there is no subjective case after the preposition. For example, in A you have nobody but Amanda helped me. You don't use nobody but Amanda help I, no, but help me, because what you need is the object. And then she loves none but me. You don't say she loves none but I, no, but you use she loves none but me. Okay. Next one. Reflexive pronouns should never be used as subjects or objects. For example, Paula and myself watched a movie yesterday. It's incorrect because actually myself as the reflexive pronoun here cannot be used as the subject. You have to say Paula and I watched a movie yesterday. Then reflexive pronouns must be used after prepositions. For example, he looked after himself. Yeah, you don't say he looked after he, no, but himself. B, they are quarreling among themselves. So after the preposition among, it should be in the form of reflexive pronoun. You don't say they are quarreling among they, for example. No. Okay guys, I think that's all for today. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you so much for watching and listening to my explanation. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe this channel. Okay, I'll see you in the next meeting. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.